BVarsity Live, and we have Arvin head coach Edgar Mares in studio now. Edgar, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And becoming kind of one of the old charges of Kern County football. That sort of happens slowly and all at once at the same time.
I'll leave that title to Coach Denman. But for sure, I'm getting up there.
I think there's some coaches.
Denman, Gola, and then you.
As far as at one school.
At one school, yes.
Multiple schools, you have Brian Nixon in there. But I think that's one of the – there's a lot of coaches around the county who are probably hoping Denman hangs on for a while so they don't have to be known as the elder statesman. But anyway, the point being, you've been around a long time, veteran coach, done a great job at Arvin in a sometimes tough situation at that school. What's the state of Arvin football as we enter 2015?
Well, we're definitely excited for the new year as the kids are always excited at the beginning of the season, and the coaches are ready to go. Obviously, we have a long ways to go, but we're definitely excited.
I think you mentioned to me 4 starters back on each side of the ball from a team that had some moderate success. You guys ended up 3-7 last year, 2-4 in a very improving SSL. Who are the guys who we can start to see as leaders on this year's team? The guys who are coming back, probably.
Well, our sophomore running back, Ralphie Velasquez, he'll be back. Our fullback, John Graves. Our 2 guards, Edgar Martinez and Salvador Gonzalez. I think offensively, those will be our guys that we lean on. Mm-hmm. And then defensively, we have some kids that are all coming back. Defensively, we have cornerback Aaron Allen. Safety Eddie Molina. I think Miguel Malgoza will step up and be a pretty good little linebacker, and then some of those same kids will also help out. I
think you've done a pretty good job over the years of sort of adjusting your style of play to who you've got and who the kids are who are going to be the leaders. What will we see from you guys this year?
Well, we're looking for a quarterback. Right now we got a kid who's a front runner, but definitely he doesn't have the experience, so we don't want to give him too much at once. So we're gonna lean on the ground game early.
Okay. Who is the quarterback or probable quarterback at this point?
Right now we got Aaron Allen, who's kind of stepped in and is taking the leadership role there.
So he's going to go there, and I know you don't necessarily replace Derek Adams, a guy who was there for you for several years and was really a mainstay in the program, but. It's in high school football. It's got to be next man up.
Yeah, no, I mean, Derek's on to better and bigger things, and the next guy up's got to step in.
Let's go through a little bit of how last year went for you real quick. You start out, and we had Michael Gutierrez in here an hour ago. They won that game by a point. You guys lose it by a point. It makes seasons go in different directions when you start out like that, doesn't it?
Well, we started against Highland really fast. We were up 17-6. Before the first half ended, and I lost my starting tailback and I lost Derek that game, and then I lost my starting center that game. So we try to hold it together. That
makes seasons go different ways, right there. Yeah.
Well, we lost our starting tailback for the whole season, Santos Perez, and then we lost Derek for the next 3.5 games.
Okay.
And we lost our center for the next 2 games, but. You lose some key players like that, and you're trying to hold on. First game, you haven't really faced adversity. You want your kids to kind of, face up to it, but Highland did a great job of plugging away, and they deserve to win that game.
And then the schedule got a little tough. You have South and Tehachapi, a couple of league championship type programs. Lose those games. As you get into league, though, it seemed like things started to turn around a little bit. You guys gave Kennedy as good of a game as anybody as far as some of those teams they were beaten up at the end of the year. And then the big win on Halloween night over Wasco had to be pretty good, pretty cool for the program. Wasco's been a program that's been really good in the last 3 or 4 years, and to beat them on your home field, that had to be special.
Yeah, definitely the highlight of the season last year for our kids and our program and our seniors, and definitely something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Moving into this year, those seniors are gone. How's the leadership and the chemistry of the new group? Because that's the underrated aspect of how things will go sometimes.
Well, I think this year I like our kids' attitude. They're wanting to do well, and they're wanting to step up. Mm-hmm. But as we talked about it in the past, I think this year more than any year, I got about 50% of my kids who are working. and so sometimes they make it to practice late. Sometimes they make it to the practice at the end of practice, and sometimes they get off of work too late and they don't make it at all.
Right.
And then they want to come back the next day and yell at other kids, and I tell them it doesn't work that way. You have to be here to earn the respect, to be able to tell somebody else. Even though you're working, even though you're doing other stuff, it's not the same thing as being here.
Yeah, gosh, that's such a tough, and that's one thing people don't think about. Arvin actually has a big enrollment, 2,400, 2,500 kid enrollment, but you mentioned some of those kids are ineligible. Some of the kids have jobs. It's not always so easy as it is at other schools where, okay, I have 2,000 kids to pick from. I can go through the halls and pick them. They can't always come out to play football.
No, it's a combination of a lot of things. Our ineligibility rate out there is high. We have a high number of ELD and migrant kids that take away from the population. And then our feeders programs, sports is not a real big emphasis like it once was. And so kids aren't used to staying after school. And then our Grizzly program, our youth program, is struggling to get numbers in their program as well. So, yeah, it's a challenge.
Can you try to change that? Do you try to change that? Is it an uphill battle?
Well, you try and meet with the superintendents from each of the lower level districts, and it's hard when they go through change as well. Sometimes when you're at a school like Arvin or even at Lamont School District or Arvin Union, you get a change in administration, not necessarily because they want to leave, but maybe there's an opportunity for them to be closer to home or a different district that maybe pays a little bit higher. And so they tend to, leave.
Yeah. And then you're dealing with a whole new set of, I got to go convince somebody else that this is what we need.
Right.
Does it ever frustrate you to a point, Edgar, or is this just, that it's just kind of par for the course and your job is to be that kind of central figure at Arvin?
Well, it used to bug me a bunch, and I used to probably let it consume me too much. But some things are just out of my control or anybody else's control. So, I focus now on what I can do, and being a central figure there for the kids for such a long time. I feel like that's the best thing that I can do.
Let's take a look at the Arvin Bears schedule for this year. And again, these schedules all just the reverse of last year. But you open up on the road at Highland and at Foothill. A couple of games that are winnable games, and you feel like if you win them, your season can go really well. And if you don't, then all of a sudden you start, again, South Tehachapi, and then league play, a couple of road trips to start league play. Those first 2 weeks are crucial, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Highland and Foothill, those are teams that we feel we can compete with. And but we're just an injury or two away from it going either way. So, and it's early in the season, so mistakes are going to be made, and sometimes it's just who makes the least amount of mistakes.
If let me rephrase that. Sorry, Ricky Ashita just a few minutes ago was talking about how he has discovered that a big part of his role is being a leader of men, being a father figure to these kids instead of being just a football coach. Does that apply for you too in your program? And you have a lot of kids who you end up being a coach of men more than a coach of players.
Well, definitely that brings me the greatest joy.
Okay.
If I was to just hinge myself on wins and losses, it'd be a very difficult road for myself personally, because as a competitor, you like to win. But I get a lot of satisfaction having the guys that played for me come back and tell me about how they're doing and what they're up to, and you hear them doing okay, and they're grateful that you were a little bit part of their life, and it just it brings me joy to see that they're doing well.
Very good. Now, if Arvin is to have a successful 2015, what does that mean to you? What is your definition of success for this season?
Well, definitely we need to get everybody who's working to get committed. We're going to need everybody to come together and have some good team chemistry, and then we're going to have to figure out who's going to step up and lead this team. So if we can do that, I think we'll be okay.
There's quite a few ifs there, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Time's running out, so it is that time of year where a lot of people have questions to be answered. Some of the questions aren't going to get answered until August 28th, and you hit the field. I'll tell you what. This is Edgar Mares of Arvin. This is the BVarsity Live Super Show. We got a couple of really successful coaches coming up next. Dennis Manning of Ridgeview, Paul Gola of Bakersfield High. then Eric Smith of Golden Valley, Chad Brown of Centennial, and Darren Carr of Bakersfield Christian. So it's quite a jam-packed final hour and 15 minutes here. Go ahead, Trevor.
Edgar, before we let you go, being the head coach at Arvin for the last 10 years, for you over that time, what's been the biggest change that you've seen on the high school football scene in Kern County, do you think?
In Kern County,
I mean, you've seen, Independence come up. You've seen 2 Delano schools come up. You look at it. I mean, there's so many new schools in
I'd
the area.
say the level of football, you see a team like Ridgeview who competes now with some of the Division I schools, and you see the amount of speed that they put on the field. You see a team like BHS who can compete at the state level with their speed. And then you have a team like Liberty who's big and strong and has some athletes that also, can knock some people around. It's just Bakersfield, I think, is pretty well known for being a football town and for putting out teams that can compete with just about anybody.
And it's good to hear from a coach who's been around a long time that is the case. So, Edgar, we appreciate you joining us, and good luck this year, my man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Edgar. And we'll be right back on the Super Show. Dennis Manning of Ridgeview up next on BVarsity Live.